The Brothers Karamazov, Book 11, Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is interesting when you see the progression, basically, of Alyosha talking to the women, the major women players in the novel. So in Chapter 1, he speaks with Grushenka, who has undergone a transformation, a redemption, a salvation for the good. Chapter 2, Madame Holikov, who has not really changed at all, just maybe a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more annoying, but maybe that's just we're getting to know her better. She actually hasn't changed much at all. Not evil, but very bent in on herself, very self-centered. Every conversation comes back to herself, her beauty, her ability to testify at the trial. Everything's really about her. Then in this chapter, Chapter 3, now he moves in and speaks to Lise, his former fiancée, and she is the opposite of Grushenka. She is not only not converted, she seems to have deconverted, and so Alyosha immediately recognized that Grushenka's face was thinner, but more firm and mature, maybe, or steady, and he immediately recognizes the opposite about Lise here in this chapter, that she has yellow skin and that she looks bad and that she's really aged poorly in the past few days since he's seen her last. And so she seems to be, her face betrays her character. She's up to no good. And then what is guessed at her face is quickly made clear in that she just says explicitly to Alyosha what her character is, how she's doing at the moment, which is she wants to be bad. She has traded in evil for good and good for evil, and she wants to create chaos and disorder, and she wants to do bad things. There's no reason to be a saint. There's no reason to be righteous. So the reader, I think, is supposed to have just remembered how the previous chapter ended. We were given the little nugget of information that Ivan has been visiting her, and so like a lot of the, quote, bad characters in the novel, Ivan's worldview and philosophy rubs off on them. And while Ivan may not do the evil thing, the person does the evil thing that Ivan's worldview has allowed them to do, logically allowed them to do. And so I think that the reader is supposed to guess at that Lise's lack of conversion has been helped by Ivan cheering on her proclivity toward the dark side. And so she says that she wants to do evil. Not only does she want to do evil, but she has been visited in her dreams by the devil. And so often what Dostoevsky has done in this book and what he will do in other books is introduce a serious theme by means of first introducing it in a comic way, a lower register way, with a simple person, a peasant person, a younger person, or a foolish person, but it's actually masquerading as a sort of a comic version of a real important philosophical discussion. And so I think that's what he's doing here. Though Lise is kind of a ridiculously immature, dramatic girl, she still is haunted at night by visions of the devil, by evil personification. So not only does her will want to do evil, there's a supernatural element. She is being tempted beyond just the lust of her own flesh, like a Dmitri or a Fyodor, on top of just sort of natural Epicurean desire. She's being visited by devils, and the reader is shocked to find out how Alyosha responds to that story, and that is he says simply, "Me too." So Alyosha still has struggles of faith. We can take his word for it that he doesn't just say "me too" in order to comfort her, that's actually a genuine statement that Alyosha too is plagued by fights with the devil, dreams, visions of evil, and that is a gigantic foreshadowing to someone else a little bit later in the book having visitation in dreams by the devil as well. then she not only wants to do evil, and she not only is visited by demons and visited by Ivan, but also fantasizes about a story she read, an anti-Semitic story about the crucifixion of a child while she sits and watches and eats pineapple. So really a grotesque, horrific story that she is a fan of, a story, the kind of thing that besides doing or thinking about, making a joke of, just seems by almost all people's moral code something that people shouldn't do. And here Lise is bringing it up as if it's somehow funny to talk of such a subject, to even bring up a story like that. And when she brings it up, she says that when she brought it up with Ivan, he laughed along with her. And so Alyosha is not amused by Lise, yet in his lack of amusement, he also he doesn't judge her, he doesn't preach at her, he doesn't talk down to her. He continues to profess his love for the Lise, who does not seem to be in a good place. So it's time for Alyosha to leave and to go visit his brother Dmitri. And as he does, as soon as he's past earshot and has escaped Madame Holikov successfully, Lise slams her finger in the door and talks about what a wretch she is. And so at the very least, she's fighting the evil, she's fighting the demons, she's fighting her crudeness in a maybe not the best way, but it seems like she is battling her demons. And I think this gives us an illusion back to the scene when Ivan first exited, where he came to the realization that he was indeed a scoundrel and called himself such. So here Lise both points us back to a previous scene of Ivan and points us forward to a future scene of Ivan. So she is a caricature in this way, a comic version of Ivan in this way, with her struggles with the devil.